Hello and welcome to the Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast. We are your hosts, Eric Sturgeon.
And I'm Russell Sorry.
This podcast is about all things Wisconsin, history, music, and culture.
While drinking a few brews.
Though we don't often use strong language, the jokes and the content is not intended for young audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Before we begin the episode, we have to give a huge shout out to the Dangits from Madison, Wisconsin, for providing us with great bluegrass intro you hear at the beginning of every episode. The song Razzle was written by Jamie Lampkins, but is performed on behalf of Tom Wasselchuk and the Dangits. If you have a chance, check these guys out at dang-its.com for upcoming shows, music, or on how to book them for weddings, parties, and etc. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Wisconsin Drunken History. My name is Eric.
And I'm Russ.
We are smack dab in the middle of our Halloween series, and we have a fantastic topic today: haunted hotels. We will go over a list of Wisconsin's most haunted hotels. We also have a beer review, a special interview with Bare Bones Brewery, another edition of How Many Loco You At? And of course, we have some hot music from Armchair Boogie. Russ, do you have any announcements we need to go over quickly before we jump in?
Yeah, again, I just want to say thank you to all the new listeners we have. It's kind of cool seeing people from other countries listening in. We're going to have a really neat studio tour coming up.
Yeah.
It's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
We have, some more live events coming up. And also we hopefully will have some new artwork and stuff from Stephanie coming up. And yeah.
Hopefully some new t-shirt designs and stuff too. And we'll keep everybody in the loop on both Instagram and Facebook. And as Russ mentioned, we're wanting to do a studio tour just to give you guys a sneak peek into the world that we live in when we record these episodes, and give you a little taste of the dark layer down here.
Yeah, we have a lot of really cool topics coming up, and just keep on staying tuned. You're going to learn a lot about Wisconsin. Obviously, sometimes you get a half-ass history lesson. I know we had a bad review. This guy was not happy about me pronouncing Italian names wrong.
Yeah,
but let me tell you right now, I have no Italiano in me blood.
No, you're lucky I could say spaghetti.
Right. I can say Parmesan cheese.
Yeah.
That's pretty much or get in the trunk. Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
That's about it.
Frankie's stuffing people in the trunk again of his Lincoln town car.
So we apologize for that, and we will work on it. It's just, for me, those names are very hard.
I mean...
And I had a lot of brewskis in the system.
You get juiced up a bit, any names are going to be tough.
The lubrication doesn't always work with your mouth.
How do you pronounce that? Bob? Bobby?
It was only Robert. Come on.
Yeah. Jeez. All right. So today's main story is haunted hotels. Of course, we have all slept in hotels and motels around the state of Wisconsin. I'm certain we have all heard some weird noises or mysterious things. And today's main topic, the most haunted hotels, really just going to give you a list of some of the most notable ones. We probably will have a episode 2 to this, or a part 2 to this, because there's so many.
Yeah.
So, really, let's go ahead and dive in and take a look, and let us know if you've booked a stay at any one of these ghostly inns. So, topping off our list, Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee. Yeah.
The jokes that come up
the
with this
Rister.
Name. Yeah.
So this is probably one of the most prominent and elegant hotels in Milwaukee. Whenever any sports teams come into town, this is where they stay. So we start our journey into Wisconsin's haunted hotels in downtown Milwaukee near the 3rd Ward at the Pfister Hotel. Known as the Jewel of Milwaukee, the Pfister was opened in 1893 by Charles Pfister and is a world-class establishment. Charles passed away in 1927, but many people report that his ghost still haunts the hotel, and his presence is felt by nearly all the guests and hotel staff. Major League Baseball has even done an article about players experiencing paranormal activity at the Pfister.
I've never stayed at the Pfister, but they have the Open Doors Milwaukee.
Yeah,
and so you can actually go in there and view it. It's beautiful. I mean, they have like a lot of artwork. I'm not a super grungy guy, but I do not fit in with that clientele. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, the restaurant inside there is really nice. The rooms are really, really high-end, elegant. I mean, it's because we live in Wisconsin, we probably wouldn't stay there. I mean, we're so close to Milwaukee anyway. Odds are we probably wouldn't even book a room there unless you're really trying to, I guess, do a romantic getaway or something and really experience the 1%, I guess. But
I'd have to really clean up my act,
yeah,
honestly, because it's
you could get kicked out just checking in. I mean, they would look at you and just be like, "Get the fuck out."
You smell like chicken shit. Take a hike.
Maybe Teresa's with you.
Yeah, I'll bring Teresa in that room with me. So.
Yeah. So number 2 on our haunted hotels list is the Whisper Rock Victorian Dreams Vacation Home in Belleville. Complete with lovely lake views, a flowing fountain, and a lush garden, this fully restored 1885 Victorian home also has some paranormal beings to keep you company. Rumored to be built on the site of an old Native American burial ground, hotel owners and guests have reportedly seen a ghostly apparition walking through the floor where a staircase used to be, heard playful voices of little girls, and witnessed piano sheet music move seemingly on its own.
Creepy. I mean, for me, like, ghosts don't really spook me out unless they're like, "Get the fuck out."
Yeah.
Then I'm gone.
I mean, if they, yeah,
like
so
Eddie Murphy, he's like, "Get the F out of here."
Yeah,
if you hear that kind of stuff.
In my opinion, if they're able to make like really, really loud noises and throw like items, I'm a little bit nervous then. But if it's just like I see a creepy old girl or lady or whatever walking across the hallway, whatever, she's just trying to make her way downtown.
Just having a fun time.
But if they're banging stuff around and able to throw stuff, that's a little concerning. I mean, that means that they might they could probably harm me.
Yeah, I love that Eddie Murphy skit where he's like, "White people, when they see ghosts, they never leave. But you're white. Get the fuck up. Yeah. I'm out of here, dude. I'm out." Like,
and the other thing that we keep in mind here is it's rumored to be built on an old Native American burial ground. Same with everything else. I mean, that's how everything starts when you're talking about paranormal homes or haunted houses or things like that. It always starts with that first piece,
right? And like pretty much the entire state of Wisconsin is a Native American burial ground.
Right. It's not like they had special areas for it. It's like, okay, Chief died. We're just going to go ahead and bury him right here, and then we're going to continue moving on.
Right.
So that's, I mean, it kind of follows that same old, legend and lore of, being built on, old Native American burial ground. So our third hotel is the Boscobel Hotel in Boscobel, Wisconsin. This saloon turned hotel turned saloon/hotel has been rumored to be haunted by its former owner and a young girl who likes to appear at the foot of guests' beds. The original owner, Adam Bobel, rebuilt the saloon after a devastating fire claimed everything but basically the four walls. 4 years after he rebuilt the tavern, Bobel passed away, but supposedly never left. Another theory is that an orphan girl named Snowflake, who was abandoned outside the hotel in the snow as an infant, returned there from beyond the grave. She lived to be 12 and, at least according to some legends, loved the hotel so much that she had never left, reports the local newspaper there. So, I mean, hey, you know what? This is pretty common as well. You've got a little girl, seemingly playful, cute, charming, and then she just, I don't know, looks at you while you sleep from the foot of your bed.
Want to play dolls?
Yeah, exactly. Imagine you waking up to that.
Oh, I'd be gone.
There's no way. There's no way I can get back to sleep after that.
No way.
So, I mean, hey, go book a stay at the Boscobel. see if you can find Snowflake. Our fourth hotel is the Karsten Hotel in Kewanee. Another reported sighting is that of a former Kewanee mayor, William Karsten, who died of a heart attack in his hotel suite, roughly located between rooms 205 and 210 in today's layout. Billy, as they call him, basically they refer to the old mayor as Billy now, runs up and down the halls, smokes cigars, and even plays with living children who are staying at the hotel. Billy sounds a little creepy.
Yeah.
Although the hotel has changed names many times over the years, this hasn't confused or deterred the spirits, and numerous spectral sightings have been experienced since 1966. Agatha, the hotel's most active apparition, is very commonly felt, heard, and sometimes seen around the hotel. She was once reported to appear standing behind a hotel cleaner while he wiped a mirror. That's classic.
Right. This is like The Shining.
Yes.
He starts wiping, and all of a sudden red rum appears.
Yep.
And he looks. It's like, oh my god, it actually says murder. Holy smokes! Like
Look at that.
oh my.
That actually says murder. But yeah, that's pretty common of horror movies and
for sure
paranormal things. I was standing there and I was combing my hair, and then all of a sudden, creepy Jimmy shows up behind me, and then I turn around, and he ain't there.
Woo.
Woo. And then Ric Flair shows up.
The ghost of Flair. Even though he's still alive.
The ghost of Flair. He's still alive. God rest his soul. So the next hotel up on our list is Union Hotel in De Pere. This 12-room inn and restaurant is known to have a very paranormal basement. Many of the stories report of singing coming from the corner of an empty bar, loud noises and banging in the basement, and your usual ghosts roaming the halls. The original family that owned the hotel has passed many stories to the current owners, and they believe a few family members' spirits settled on the property. So,
the singing ghost, I don't know. I'd probably leave for that one too. Like we're singing in Latin, like Sanctus Dominus. I'd be like, I'm gone. Like I'm grabbing my drink and I'm running.
I mean, what if they were just singing some Cher? Do you believe in life after love?
That song, man, that was like one of the first auto-tune songs. It was so it was so bad. It was just
She couldn't possibly sing that without the aid of some extra computer.
Not at that age.
Oh man. Oh, Cher. God rest her soul. She's also still alive.
I know. It's a ghost of Cher.
All right. The next hotel is the Brumder Mansion Bed and Breakfast. This is a mobster's home, boarding house, parsonage, and a coffee house. The Brumder Mansion has been all of the above before, but is now known as a haunted bed and breakfast. Unexplained noises, horrible nightmares, and mysteriously moved objects are some of the commonly noted happenings. Once in the Gold Suite of the bed and breakfast, owner Carol Hershey found several drops of fresh blood in the bathtub, although it had been days since anyone had been in the room.
Yeah, that's another one. Get out.
Well, especially, so it's different
man.
if you say it's fresh blood versus like dried, caked on or whatever. Fresh means, that's scary. That's really spooky.
Yeah.
Either somebody's actively bleeding in there or, somebody killed somebody and, hovered a, bloody knife or something over the thing. It's just, that's really not something you want to be, you don't want to find yourself in that situation.
Yeah, any macabre scene like that, though, I think that's another one that would just make me want to leave.
Oh, for sure. The Brumder Mansion Bed and Breakfast is in Milwaukee as well, by the way. So our final hotel for this specific version or this installment of the haunted hotels in Wisconsin is the Nickel Plate Hotel in Elkhorn, Wisconsin. Quite possibly the most haunted hotel on our list, this skid palace is more of a Cho motel than an actual motel, as it is the preferred first stop for most criminals after being released from the Walworth County Jail. Conveniently located above the Sports Page Bar in historic downtown Elkhorn, the Nickel Plate has been rumored to be a hotbed for paranormal activity. Although it's unlikely that you'll find any ghostly children at the foot of your bed, if you do see any children, make sure to notify authorities because I'm certain someone is violating their probation agreements. Visitors have uttered stories of loud noises, groaning, and screams coming from the rooms and hallways. But most of those can be explained off as drunk townies who stumble their way in attempting to find the sports page.
So I was going to ask you, you were telling me they kind of cleaned this place up a little bit, though, like the new owners did?
Well, so they've cleaned up the sports page. As far as the Cho Motel that is the Nickel Plate, I believe it's still sort of maybe a halfway house. It certainly is, one of those first stops, for anybody who got arrested and now is, being released, and they just don't have any other means of housing.
I actually have a story about the sports page in the Nickel Plate Hotel.
Well, I'm dying to hear this.
Yeah, so one day I was after school, I was skateboarding home, and I was going behind kind of where Larducci's Pizza's at, riding my skateboard to my grams. And there's a little walkway in between the Cho Motel that you can go, you can go through. It's kind of a shortcut to have to go around the buildings. And this one guy who was known as Lester the Molester, I don't even know if that's his real name.
Everybody's got a Lester the Molester.
I think everyone just called him that.
Yeah.
And he stopped me. He's like, "Can you come in and help me with my TV?" And immediately in my head, I'm like, F that.
Yeah.
So I just freaking skated as fast as I could away from that dude because I might have been dead, honestly. I probably would have been in the paper or...
I mean, it would have been one of those scenarios where you go in, you kneel down in front of the television set, and then all of a sudden the door shuts behind you and he's just standing there naked.
Oh, man.
It's over. I mean, you would have been
It's
done.
over.
It's over. You would have been done, dude.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, it was weird. That town, I mean...
I am so glad that you did not help that man with his television set.
No, I am too. And that town, I have a love-hate relationship I always have had. And
yeah.
I mean, it's my hometown, but at the same time, it's like I don't really ever want to live there.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I have the same type of feelings, I think, about it. Some good memories, but I like to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Just memories.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need to be there anymore, and I certainly don't need to.
When I visit my dad, I go around the town because he lives out in the country.
Exactly.
So I go around Elkhorn to my dad's house. I just
you can avoid the whole damn town just by visiting him. So again, there's no shortage of spooky hotels in Wisconsin, and we certainly encourage any thrill seekers to fill vacancies ASAP and report back on whatever you guys experience. We would love to hear if you guys are able to find Billy or Snowflake or I don't know, Lester maybe.
I don't want to see the ghost of Lester.
Yeah, if you guys encounter Lester at the Nickel Plate, we want to hear about it, but definitely call the police first.
I'm guessing
and report that.
He's a constantly rigid ghost.
Oh, yeah, he's one of those more stiff ghosts. All right. So we have our Wisconsin music segment here. And again, we have Armchair Boogie. These guys are absolutely fantastic. Again, Russ and I have mentioned a few times the absolute quality of these bands and artists that we get. And Armchair Boogie just rocks. I absolutely love their tunes. It's, again, bluegrass and folk, and it's top notch.
Yeah, it was my first time actually listening to them, but it's one of those great bluegrass bands from Wisconsin, and you have to check these guys out. They're right up there with the other ones we featured, Chicken Wire Empire, Horseshoes. Yep. I mean, they're top notch. Yeah,
definitely. And so we're going to feature the song is called Self Control, but it's a tough decision to find out, as it is with all of these artists, which one to choose. Like, we just want to show you, a nice little introduction to the band, and then that way you guys can go and find the rest of their tunes on your own and really discover. But again, this is Self Control by Armchair Boogie.
If the sun's gonna set, then I'm gonna drink, it ain't fair. You get to be out all day when I'm out all night, drinking wine and acting the fool. Ooh, well, you're up and shining, I'm late rising, barely leave the bed and think of what I didn't do right. Headache over time, like I rewind and do it again. Now I know I have no self-control. I'm working on it, but I'm getting real old. I ain't wise, your advice won't make a change. Put it back on the shelf, I'd rather not, and go down easy. Even as a shot, might have to slow it down. But for now, I'll head downtown. Now maybe it's because I'm from the north, where drinking on the weekends a competitive sport. And if the tales are true, it's what we're doing all we know. Like I know I have no self-control. I'm working on it, but I'm getting real old. I ain't wise, but your advice won't make a change. It 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 won't make a change. Can't be changed at that thing. It won't make a change. It won't. Now we're after the bridge. I'm still at the bar. I'm feeling sort of close, but no cigar. And there will be a day I make a change just for me. And I know I have no self-control. I'm working on it, but I'm getting real old. And I ain't wise, but your advice won't make a change.
All right. Again, that was Armchair Boogie, Self-Control. Definitely check them out. I know that they're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. The rest of their catalog is just as good as that song. Really tough to try to narrow it down to decide which one we wanted to show you. So we have another beer review for you.
Woo.
And today's beer is from Oso, and I'll let Russ kind of give you guys a little bit of a breakdown of what this baby is.
Yeah, so this one is a sour wheat. It's a sour ale, sour wheat ale at 3.9% alcohol by volume, called Infectious Groove. And just the initial taste of it, you're definitely getting some tartness on there.
Tart. It's very, like a classic sour.
Yeah, I think it kind of has like a wilder yeast that they must have used. It's good. It's a little tart, tangy. It's not dry in the back of your throat, which is nice. It's not like a super dehydrating one. I've had some pretty nasty sours, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, and so this one, it's really actually nice. Definitely is tame. I'm not getting like the really bad tartness that some of them have. It's not overly sweet. It's a really tame version of a sour, which is great.
Yeah, the flavor is really bright. It's like when you drink it, it like hits your tongue, and you get that instant sour, but it kind of tapers off, and it doesn't leave you like dehydrated in the back of your throat. It's pretty delicious. And for those of you that don't know, we did have Oso on a previous episode, but Oso is actually in Plover, Wisconsin. They're founded in 2007. It's one of the breweries on my list I still have yet to check out.
Yeah, I've never been there either, so I think that's something that you and I should definitely, once we're able to travel, I think that would be a good one to kind of go check out.
Yeah, and a little information about Oso. So I ended up talking to one of the guys from Oso over the phone, and I asked him about the name. It actually means "oh so good," like the beer.
Oh,
and they
so you
shortened
did?
it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I wanted to get that clarified because I thought it was like Wisconsin slang. Like, oh, so Bob, you gonna go hunting or
Yep.
no? You know, but it actually does mean "oh so good." And yeah, it's really tasty. I've seen this one in most grocery stores too, and I think it's available all year round. I believe I have seen it multiple times.
Yeah.
It's a pretty tasty one. I don't think it's their flagship beer, as you would call it, but it is a very good beer from Oso, and I
Right.
recommend you guys check it out.
Yeah, and this one's it's you know, if you go to a bigger liquor store that does the build your own 6-pack, definitely throw one of these in there, because I think, you know, for you know, people that don't necessarily enjoy a sour, this one is actually really, really nice and tame. So it's not gonna, you know, crush you with the sweetness or the bitterness or anything that's coming from that sour. And then, like Russ said, with the little bit wilder of a yeast strain, this is really nice. I really actually enjoy it. Russ and I both, as we were grabbing beers out of the refrigerator, we looked at this one and we were like, should we review this one right now? You know,
Get it out of the way, because
exactly.
we're both like we drink. I'm not gonna lie to you. We drink a lot of cheap, crappy beer too.
Yeah,
and we're not
for sure.
But we try to branch out and try new stuff, especially Wisconsin beer. I mean, anything from Wisconsin is usually quality crafted. It's usually pretty good. I like to support our state, and yeah. So go and grab this one, throw it in a mix and match.
That's what. Yeah, and I would say this is the perfect one to add to a mix and match, because it. I mean, again, this is probably available in a 6-pack from Oso, but in reality, you know, this is just a really classic sour and good enough. And now another edition of How Many Loco You At?
And we got a doozy from Beloit, Wisconsin today. A 36-year-old woman from Rockford crashed her car into a building and then hid from officers early Monday morning.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a recent one. According to police, she crashed into the building at the corner of Broad and State Street around 1:15 a.m. Police say she fled from the scene and was found hiding in a doorway on West Grand Avenue.
Hiding in a doorway?
Yeah.
Why didn't she use the door
I don't.
to go inside?
I'm guessing it was a lock. She's just trying to dip.
She doesn't really know much about doors.
She has
does
a broken arm, and someone's like, "Help! Help!
Mhm.
Help!" Just trying to find somebody that'll come and help her so she can get away with it.
I can't turn this door because I seem to have lost my arm.
She was charged OWI second offense and operating while license were revoked, unreasonable speed, hit and run, failure to keep her vehicle under control, possession of THC, and possession of drug paraphernalia on top of it.
Whoa.
Yeah, she hit like over the trifecta.
That's a checklist right there.
Yeah, she got all the check marks are in this one.
Now, I don't know enough about the law, but I don't know if any of that's felony charges, but
I'm guessing in this case, so police say the accident caused flooding on the first floor of the building and a gas line was bent but did not rupture, luckily, because that would have been a nasty explosion.
Yeah.
She was taken into Mercy Health in Janesville for injuries she suffered in the crash. And she's probably hiding with like a broken arm, like her arm and like her face, like skin's dangling. She's like just trying to hide from the officers. I mean, and understandably, I mean, if you were to do something like that, your first initial thing is like get away from the scene, like, you know, especially if you're not completely damaged. This is a huge deal. It's probably a felony charge.
If you're able to walk and try to get away, I guess.
Not that I would. If I did this, I'd take the full blame for it. But if you were to,
I mean, that's rough though. I mean,
that's prison time.
She has drugs.
She's prison time.
She's
for sure.
drunk. She smashes into a building. And again, like the article points out, this isn't her first rodeo.
Yeah.
She's a pretty experienced bull rider. So I'm telling you,
she got 10 charges like in one day.
Exactly. So I'm going to say, hey, you know what? Even being the most honest person, there is no way in hell I'm sticking around to find out exactly what happens. I guess catch that additional charge of, you know, trying to flee the scene or whatever. But I mean, she's looking at some time. Oh, yeah. Man. She is going to be, her kids are going to be grown by the time she gets out.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. And
very, very unfortunate.
But if you were to guess, how many locals do you think she's at?
Yeah, so
she's a smaller lady too.
Yeah.
She's 36 years old.
36 plays a key factor.
That's what I'm thinking. And
age at that point, you know, you're not so past your prime. You still might hang out and go party and hang out at bars and stuff, but you can't hang like you used to.
Yeah.
And so 36 is one of those rough ages where she might have just gotten in over her head that night, bought a little bit of marijuana, got a little bit of other stuff going on, and she overdid it. But I'm thinking with the crash and everything, yeah, she's probably in deep on I'm gonna say I think she's probably at like a 2.5 cans.
I was thinking 8 loco.
I was thinking like 8.
I was actually
8 to
thinking
10 is like right where I think she's at.
That's what I think so. And could you imagine being like a mason and having to go fix that too? Because it was a brick building, old brick building, and all the bricks that crumbled.
All the plumbing that goes into it. They said definitely was a leak and stuff. The gas line definitely still has to be like corrected. I would imagine you can't just have a bent, potentially roughed up line that. I mean, maybe it's weakened now. I mean, pressure goes through that. You never know what could happen.
And I mean, she has a pretty nice truck, but with like all the drug paraphernalia and stuff, I honestly think
there's like burn holes.
She would
in
not
there.
be a Four Loko drinker. I think she'd be like a Colt 45, Magnum,
Mickey's potentially.
Yeah, she's more of a
Hurricane.
She's a malter. I want to call it
malt. Yeah, malt. Yep.
So,
but again. Hey, Four Loko is a malt beverage.
True, it's a flavored malt beverage.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I don't think she's beyond. This one feels
a little
like
loco
it could
to you?
be a real
It feels
loco. This feels like it could be a real loco.
So 8 loco we're going with on this one.
Yeah, she's sucking down drugs, having a couple of
Sucking
locos.
down drugs.
She's sucking back a couple of drugs and drinking a couple of Four Lokes, man. What's up?
Heck yeah. All right, today we're here with Dan from Bare Bones Brewery in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. How you doing?
Real well. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
So we wanted to know a little bit about Bare Bones, how you guys got started, and then a little bit about your story.
Okay. Well, it's a long one. We got plenty of time.
Yeah.
But, back in the 80s, I grew up in Illinois. Don't hate me, but that's where I grew up. And the drinking age was 21, so I started brewing beer when I was a kid at 15, 16 years old because we could buy the ingredients. And so when we were at school, we'd rotate to friends' houses making beer, and our parents would come home and try to figure out why the house stunk. So that's the first time I started brewing beer. And then I moved to Wisconsin in 1990, 30 years ago.
There you go.
And then after becoming a Packer fan rather than a Bear fan, I also got back into home brewing, but I had a bunch of little kids at the time. I had 3 kids that were under age 5, and I started to try to home brew, and it really didn't work because I didn't have the time. And then in about 2011, I run a business in Eagle River, Wisconsin, found a little brewery up here called Tribute. It's just a steel building. It was very simple. Had a gutter for a beer catch, taps coming through the cooler. Just a very simplistic model, but they made great beer. And I started spending a lot of time there. And then when I moved my business in Oshkosh to a spot that was right on a bicycle trail, the Weewash bicycle trail, we decided to, hey, let's put in a little tap room. We're going to put in a little 5-barrel system in the end of our existing business. And that's kind of how Bare Bones came to be.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know. We love the concept, too, with the dogs and stuff. Obviously, we're both huge dog people, so it's really neat. I was going to ask you, do you guys, what beers are you currently having on tap right now?
Oktoberfest is just about out. Isn't that weird that it's almost October?
Right.
We're about done. But we've got a coffee stout coming out probably in the next week. I know coffee beans are going in tomorrow to be steeped. And then let's see what else is coming up. Our cookies and milk stout.
Ooh, sounds good.
A beer we do for festival foods. We put festival foods cookies actually in the mash itself. But it's a milk stout that gets sold at all their locations, and we've been doing that. This will be the 4th year.
That sounds amazing.
That comes out Thanksgiving.
I'll be looking for that. We actually just got a Festival Foods about a year ago in Hales Corners, right near where I live.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, so I know things have been really weird this year, obviously with COVID. But do you guys have any events coming up?
Yeah, we have an event next weekend. Is probably the last one for the cool season, or before it gets cold. we have a bike event that we did last year. We formed a nonprofit group to try to include and make the bike trails around Winnebago County better, make it more Madison, if you will, where it's super bike friendly. But the event we have next weekend is a fundraiser for that nonprofit group. But we ride up the Wheel Wash Bike Trail. So we leave from the brewery, we head to the Larson Tavern, which is about 10 miles there. And then there's actually 2 rides. One's 38 miles and one's 20. But you either go to Larson and back and then come back and enjoy the party at the brewery, or you drive up to Hortonville and back, which is about a 20 mile, 19 mile round each way, I should say, 38 mile round trip back to the brewery. Then we have a band called the Presidents, which are a local band that book kind of all over. They play a lot of Packer games, and they're a top-notch entertainment group. So we've got them playing at night, a food truck, stuff like that. And we just hope the weather's great next Saturday.
Yeah. That sounds like an awesome event too. I hope you got good weather for that.
Yeah, it's going to be outside without a tent. So we might have a bonfire going, a couple of heaters going if it is a little bit cool. But with everything that's going on, we keep things really spread out. We have the doors propped open to the tap room. People come in, they wear a mask. They get in a line 6 feet apart waiting to get a beer, or we'll have a beer serving outside as well. So
Awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like a great event. And Dan, before we let you go, we want to find out how Wisconsin you are. So this is going to be interesting because we have Illinois clientele on the phone with us.
Yeah.
Original Illinois.
But he's been here for 30 years.
He's probably done all of these things.
And he's a Packer fan.
Right. So he might be all right. So Dan, have you ever eaten a squeaky cheese curd?
I have. We serve them at the brewery. We get them delivered every Friday.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Good.
Love to hear that.
We got one. Have you ever been to a Brewers, Packers, Badgers game and tailgated?
Yeah, all 3.
Oh, the
trifecta.
trifecta.
Nice
Awesome.
job.
Yep. My friends used to get tickets right next to Front Row Amy. So,
Oh, yeah, front row Amy.
Yeah, we were in seats 1 through 4, and she was always in seat 5. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I've been to games. I've been to great seats at Miller Park for sure.
Yeah, have
And
you did you ever catch a glimpse? Did she actually keep the scorecard proper?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah. From the best that I could tell.
Yeah.
Normally I'm drinking and doing whatever. And then we have Packer season tickets because I put my son on in 1993 when he was born, or 92 I should say. So we actually got season tickets to the Packers, so we do a lot of Packer games as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think last time I looked, I'm at like 56,000 still.
Yeah. We got a ways to wait.
I got a little
12,000 in 1992.
Oh, man.
And we got our tickets about 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I'll ever see it in my lifetime, but
Yeah.
that's okay. Dan, have you ever wore a cheese hat?
I have. Yep.
Perfect. He's a season ticket holder.
He
so of
has a
course he
cheese hat.
has.
Okay, that was a dumb question.
You get the cheese head with the season tickets.
Sure, it does. It comes in a box. It's really nice.
Yeah.
So one Wisconsin thing we face. Have you ever hit a deer?
Yep. Yeah, I've done that with my work truck.
Yeah.
I've hit 2. So, yeah, we got that covered.
There you go.
I got the
Nothing
one.
more Wisconsin than that.
I've been really lucky. I think I have a 1 count right now, but it was pretty bad. It damaged my car pretty good.
Yeah.
The irony is I'm looking at a deer in my backyard. I'm up in Eagle River while we're talking.
Wow.
A deer sitting there, standing right in the backyard.
Get your work truck ready.
Have you ever had a true muddled old fashioned?
Yes, we make those at the brewery as well because we have a liquor license. So we actually muddle our own old fashioned. So it's one of my favorite pastimes. Had 3 of them last night.
I
love a good brandy old fashioned, and I like it sour.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it either way. I like it sweet and sour.
Yeah.
I like it muddled for sure, though, where everything's smashed on the
definitely.
bottom.
Yep.
You maybe throw a sugar cube in there too.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
Have you use Steva because it's we're trying to watch our calories a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Watching my figure.
Yeah.
Have you ever milked a cow?
That one I can say I haven't. I have never done that. Never got that urge, but I don't know. I'm still young. I can do it.
Yeah. Yep. Still got plenty of time. You could just go milk one right now if you want.
Yeah, I've milked the cat.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love it.
Have you ever went to a tractor pull?
No.
No.
That is not something in my wheelhouse.
It's not really up my alley either. I used
Yeah.
to go as a kid with my grandpa. That's the only reason I've been to him. It's not really in my wheelhouse either. So Have you ever been to a supper club, and do you have a favorite?
Absolutely. We go to supper clubs all the time. And I guess, I don't know whether we're in the Eagle River or down by Oshkosh. Oshkosh, I would have to say it's Butamore Supper Club is probably the best supper club we've been to down in the Oshkosh area. It's a joint, and they get real good people and great food there.
I have not been to that one.
I've heard of it.
Is it the old school 70s walls and everything too?
Yep, it's kind of got bench seats like you're in a almost like you're in a cafe in the morning.
Yeah.
Some of the seats in the front, and it's right next to the Whiting. They call it the White House. It used to be called Jimmy's White House, which is a very historic building in Butamore. It's right down from the brewery, about 3-4 miles.
Awesome.
And Dan, we got 2 more questions for you before we let you go today.
Sure.
Next one, beer brats. And do you have a brewery from or a beer from Bare Bones that you recommend using in beer brats? I mean, I always hate wasting craft beer, but I was just wondering if you guys have one you'd recommend trying.
We like our amber. In the brats, usually I always say it's the oldest one in the fridge. My favorite beer is the freshest, so I try to get rid of whatever's old because I don't think it affects the flavor too much. But I think amber's a good solid choice.
Yeah.
I remember we had from one of our guests, they say they age PBR. I don't know if you can really age PBR.
A fine, good year PBR.
Absolutely.
And we got one more question. Besides Bare Bones, is there a brewery or a brewery tour you recommend people go and check out?
Wow, gosh. I mean, I've always liked the Lakefront tour. That's always been a great time. I've done the Leinenkugels one. I've done a bunch of them, but I would have to say Lakefront probably does the best job of putting it on for a tour.
Yeah, I agree.
In the macro brews, I really like the Miller tour. I mean, I must have done that 3 or 4 times.
That's a really cool one. You get to go in the cellars and everything. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, and that's my favorite macro beer. I mean, I've got craft beer every night when I go home. I got 18 taps I'm looking at. So I can pick a lot of different flavors, but sometimes you do get burned out of it. And you'll always find Miller High Life in my fridge just because it's an easy drink.
Yeah.
And it tastes fantastic, nice and creamy, and it's just a great beer.
Yeah, sometimes, you just got to switch back to that cheap lager once in a while. I mean, I branch out, but I love my cheap beer too. So
yeah.
Yeah. And they've got a great way that for me, of all the macro beers, if you pour a Miller High Life in a glass, I always drink it out of a pint glass, the lacing on it's amazing. The head is great, and then there's a lacing in that glass when you finish that you will not find in a Coors Light or Bud Light or any other macro beer, even a PBR. I used to be a huge PBR guy, but the lacing that Miller has got going and the creamy deliciousness, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a great beer. Champagne of beers. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
But Dan, we want to thank you for your time today, and we really appreciate you coming on our show, and thanks again.
Yeah, we can't wait to get up there by you.
Yeah, we'll open a second location in Menasha. That's going to open November 1st. It's just going to be a tap room, and my son's putting a distillery next to that.
Oh,
so,
nice.
It's good, separate, but kind of very connected. So you could do a distillery tour, and we won't be making beer there, but we'll be serving our beer.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Have
Have
a
a
good
great
day.
rest of your Sunday. All right. That concludes this episode of Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast.
If you enjoyed this vulgar display of Wisconsin, we recommend you subscribe via SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn.
Also, leave us a review on any one of those above-mentioned sites, and we can read one at the end of every show. Follow us on social media, and feel free to reach out, especially if there is a piece of history or weird news you'd love us to share or research, as well as highlight some local artists or music. Our website is projectcapestudio.com.
I'd also like to thank my friend and past coworker, Steph Skiback, for providing us with awesome podcast cover art, as well as the Dangits for intro and outro music, and all of you for listening. As always,
Watch out for deer on the way home.